Hey guys, it's Melissa here. Today, as you can see, we are inside my home and not out in the garden just yet because we're going to be going over plans to redo my vegetable garden. About a year and a half ago, we got a new puppy, Gus, and he's such a sweetie pie. He does everything right except for the fact that he loves to eat all the produce that I plant in my garden. He thinks I truly plant it for him, and it's causing a lot of stress on me because that's what I'm doing. I'm literally planting all the fruits and vegetables for him to eat because he gets them before I have a chance to get them. So I want to rework some things and actually make it so we can enjoy it instead of him so much. And then he and I can actually live in a little more harmony than we've been this past year. So the problem is, I like my raised beds. I like the setup that I have, but it just, for some reason, I'm not feeling the space. So I want to actually redo the whole thing, get rid of everything, start from scratch, which is super fun. I'm actually excited about that. My husband calls me Mouse. That's my nickname from him because if you give a mouse a cookie, you know, the whole story of wanting more, that's what I end up doing. But you know, but he knew this before he married me. So if he doesn't like it, that's on him. So we are going to start from the ground up. We're going to remove the flower beds, or sorry, the raised beds, and start anew. I kind of have an idea of what I want, but we do need to go out there, measure the space, and maybe you have a space that you want to work on too and redo. We can just do this together, kind of bounce ideas off of each other because I want to just completely level the area, get rid of the gravel that we do have, and just rework the space. So I'm just now walking off the porch of my back of my house, and this is my vegetable garden. Here I've got this beautiful arbor that I absolutely love, but I'm thinking I don't like the coloring. It's too new looking, and I like things to look pretty old, so I'm hoping I can sand it down and kind of make it look more weathered, but that's for another story. But this is the space. So currently what I have is I have a blueberry hedge on both sides of the arbor right here. I have 3 over here and 3 over here, and as you can see, these two are not doing so well because of our lovely little Guster. So Gus has been chewing on this. Well, actually no, he has not been chewing on this one. This is the one he keeps running through to get to the vegetable garden. He'll just run right through here and just trample this poor little thing. So it's nearly on death's door right here. This one, I realized he was actually playing with it and tugging on it and pulled it out of the ground. That darn little dog. Look at that. It's still alive. I don't know how, but it is. I kind of just pushed it back in place like this, and then I'm going to be redoing this area anyway, so that's why I'm not too concerned about it. But that's problem number one. We have to figure a way where I can still have my blueberry hedge, but yet the dog isn't going to destroy it. What I have to be careful with is the fact that I don't want too many hard pieces together, like a fence right on the patio. That's just too much. I don't know what that's considered, like hardscape, I guess. I need there to be softscape. That's why I love my blueberry hedge that I have, because it breaks it up. It brings me more greenery, which is what I need. So we've got to figure out a way where I can have a fence up, but still keep my blueberry hedges. So I'm kind of thinking we're going to pull back the fence just a tad, and that way the fence, he can't run through and destroy my blueberry hedge, but the blueberry hedge is still next to the patio. It's kind of what I was thinking. Now as we walk through the arbor, here I have 4 raised beds that I absolutely love. I love the raised beds. I've always had raised beds, and I just think it's great. I think the structure, it brings height to it, so I really like that. And I like this formal look, but I'm not sure I want this type of formal look. So one thing for sure is that we just planted raspberries here in the springtime, and I really do not like having the raspberry hedge here. So I'm pretty certain this is one of the things that's going to go. I do want to keep raspberries because I do want to grow an edible garden. That is the whole point of this entire backyard transformation, is I'm trying to make an edible garden. And here I think in this space will be like kind of the potager, just the beautiful French vegetable garden, kitchen garden that I'm trying to create right next to the house. But anyway, back to the raspberries. I don't like the way it looks. I find it just not right. So I'm going to have this moved. I'm probably going to end up moving the raspberry bushes into the side yard that I have right over here instead, and do something else with this space. As you can see, I have my patio right over here. This is where we all sit and congregate during pool parties. Of course, there's Gus in the pool again. I have some wisteria growing up the top. I do have to trim off the scragglies pretty soon, get that taken care of. And on this side, I have some fruit trees. I have the Pinoche fig, which is the most delicious fig I've ever had, delicious. And I have some nectarines here and there. These are also part of the espalier trees that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be trimming them up in just a couple weeks, getting these all trimmed up and getting things all ready to start that, which I'm so excited. The varieties of these trees, this is double delight nectarine. What is the other one? Let's go over here and look. And this one is called Z Glow Nectarine. And I believe the fruit grow at different times than one another, so it will have fruit on one of them, and then like a month later we'll get fruit on the other, which is perfect. That's exactly what I want. So this is a very small space, so it should actually be quite easy to redo this area. I am going to be removing the gravel, and I'm thinking about getting rid of raised beds completely. I don't know exactly what I want to do. I have kind of a thought in mind. I think it'd be really pretty to have something in the center and maybe a walkway around it, but I don't know if there's enough space. We have to get out the tape measure, measure this area, find out how big it is, and then we can go from there. So let's get started on that. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually measure the distance, the width of this place, because we need to know how big it is. So it's almost 15, so it's 14 feet, and like 9.5 inches. Okay. The length, all the way to the fence. So this is 16 feet right here. Okay, so the next thing I do is I get out some paper. I do have graph paper as well, but I use that typically after I've kind of gotten an idea of what I want to do. Normally I just use this for the fun of it at the moment, just so I can have some ideas, get some inspiration, because sometimes it takes me a while to kind of figure out what I want. So we know it's a rectangle space, so 14, almost 15 by 24 space. And we do know I want my blueberry hedge. That we know. I like my arbor. I plan on keeping my arbor, but I bought something for the garden. I'm so excited to show you. So let me turn the camera around so you can actually see what I got. Look at this. I got this at an antique store. I am obsessed with it. Isn't this gorgeous? I love it. Yes, it's missing a spindle, but you know what? That's okay. I find this thing so charming. It is like a storybook cottage gate. And this is the gate I'm going to put into the new potager garden. I am super excited how that's gonna look. Oh, it's gonna be adorable. Love it. All right, so here is my arbor. Here's my blueberry hedge. And we know I have a gate. So there's my gate. So we need to figure out where I'm gonna put the gate. Let me measure it real quick. All right, so it's 27 inches long or wide, and more up, it is 34. Okay. Okay, so we know now that the gate, I can't attach the gate to the arbor because that's just gonna be too small. So that's okay. I like the width of the arbor, and I'm going to keep the arbor. I just need it to be more rustic, so I'm going to sand it down, kind of make it look more rustic. I love the coloring of the gate, but we do need to find a way to protect it because I don't want it damaged from the weather, the sun, or the rain. So I'm gonna have to find some sort of sealant. I don't really particularly want to paint it a color. I'd love the color to stay, but I know that clear stuff tends to be kind of shiny and glossy, so we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay, so I do need a fence because he'll just barrel right through the garden. So we're gonna put up some sort of fence. I'm thinking maybe 2 feet in. Put up a fence right here. I have my pergola right here. Yeah, I know my drawings are wonderful, aren't they? So here's my pergola right here. So I'm thinking a fence in the front. This will be where the gate is, right here. And then a fence on the side as well. Yes. Okay, that'll just block him from getting into it. So if he runs through my blueberries, he's gonna crash into a gate or a fence, I mean. So that's good, that's what we want. We want him not to be able to barrel through. So I think that part is good. But I already have in my chicken garden, I have already a fence to block him from going in there and damaging that stuff. And I don't want too many fences. You know what I mean? I feel like having too many fences will kind of just give that too much hardscape again. It was what I'm trying to get away from. So we got to figure out a way how we can break that apart so that it's not so, just blocked off all the time and blocked off from fences and stuff. So that's what we have to figure out. Okay. Oh my goodness, you guys. I think I've got the front figured out. Okay, so as you can see here, I have my blueberries right here. I have a fence in the back. But what I've done to break up the hardscape that I was talking about, what if I espalier more fruit trees on the fence? And then eventually, as the trees grow, I can remove the fence if I want to, or it's just covered by fence. Either way, it's fine because the branches will be coming out through here and then going up and then coming out through here, and then I'll just have more fruit trees. I love that plan. Oh my goodness, I think that's gonna look great. I can do the same thing on the side because I'm gonna have it blocked off on the side as well. Oh yes, because right here, this is the beginning of the patio right here. So that will definitely break up fence, patio, pergola. Oh, that will look so good. Oh my goodness. I'm excited. As you can see, I was starting off like, okay, maybe some sort of vine, but I already have 4 grapevines. So I didn't really want more grapevines. So then I thought, well, what about roses? Roses are beautiful, but I'm also, like I said, I'm trying to get into an edible garden, and roses really, even though they're beautiful, it's really not filling that need that I want for the edible garden. And so then the idea of fruit trees came along because I am definitely trying my best to add as many fruit trees as I possibly can in my yard. So I had to write it out. I actually have 19 fruit trees in my yard currently. And remember, I just live on a regular lot in town, not in the country whatsoever. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to maximize my space, and with my edible garden, which again, that's really my drive. I want to have a garden that's absolutely beautiful, but with fruit trees. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm also putting, produce into the garden. I really want to have, peas growing and intermixing with all the flowers and everything. I think that's just beautiful. So if I do that, where I put the fence up and actually have espalier 3 more fruit trees, that's all of a sudden 21. 21 fruit trees in my yard. Can you believe it? Ah, I can't believe it. I think that's exciting. Plus, I do have room for 2 more limes, which I'm saving a space because I haven't done that section yet. So that's impressive. I'm very, okay, I like this idea. I like it a lot. That makes me excited. Now we've got to come up with kind of the idea of what I want the area to look like. I want it to be a formal looking area, but I also want to give off that cottage vibe as well. So my chicken garden, it is a cozy area. It's a small space. The walkways are very narrow, and I understand that, but you know what? It works for me. This is my home. I have to live here. I have to be happy with it, and I am 100% happy with my chicken garden. I think it serves my purpose well. I love it. So I want to do the same thing with the potager. I want to make sure that it's a space where I feel like at home, right? At home. Everybody wants to feel at home at their own home. So let's think, how are we going to do this? Okay, so I already purchased a sundial that I want to be in the center of my potager garden. I don't have it yet. It's not supposed to arrive until about May or June, but it's already paid for. I'm excited. It is beautiful. I love it. I can put a picture of what it's going to look like on the screen so you guys can actually see it and you can anticipate with me because it's absolutely beautiful. And I think what I want around the sundial is just to be a small planter. It's not going to be a big space because, again, this area is only, what, 14 feet wide. So very small planter around it. But what I think I'm going to put in that area is I'm going to put some, oh, my brain. I'm going to put some mint around it because, first of all, I love mint. Mint smells so good. It's a beautiful scent, but it grows horrifically. In fact, in my area, so I used to keep it on pots on my patio because I loved it so much. But one day, or one year, I went away on a trip and I thought, oh no, I have no way to water it because I didn't have drip set up to those at that time. And so what I did was I just picked up the pot, right? No big deal. And I put it in the flower bed so at least the sprinklers from the grass could actually get it watered and make it nice for me. Well, what happens is those little legs of it gets everywhere, and so it did. It spread in my area. So every year I am pulling out mint, still to this day, and this was probably like 5 years ago. I'm not pulling it out very vigilantly because it smells so good that I love it, but it does harm the other plants, so I have to really be careful that it's not harming other plants. So what I'm going to do is I feel like I'm going to really work hard this year to remove the mint that's in my area, but I want to put it in the potager, and this way it's in a contained spot. It's not going to get anywhere. We're going to have drip running to it, so it's going to be fine. But I think that'll make it smell good. It's the green color that I like. It doesn't last during the winter, so it does die back in the winter, and then it looks yucky. So I know in the winter time I'm going to have to either plant something else around my sundial. But that's okay. I still like the idea, and if I change my mind, it's a little area to combat instead of a big area, right? Okay, so that works. All right, back to the drawing board. So as you can see, this is my door to the back, into my house from the backyard. You walk down the steps over here, you go to the chicken garden, and you go straight to the dining table, and then here's the pergola, and here is the potager. And I'm thinking I like this design. It is a straight, narrow walkway here. You go around the sundial and then under arbors to get into the backyard. This is the design. Let me turn this so you can actually see this straight on because I'm just looking at it myself. These are my nectarine trees. As you can see, the style, this is the style that I'm going to be doing for the nectarine trees in my vegetable garden. So I'm thinking, and yeah, here's the sundial. I like this. What do you think? Doesn't that look super pretty? And just have it just decorated with fruits and vegetables and herbs, and I think that's just going to be beautiful. I love it. I'm going to be removing the fig tree. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm just going to be moving it to a different location. I loved this fig tree. It was so delicious. This fig tree was so delicious, and that was the first time I've had this. It's called panache fig. It is amazing. So in the location that I have it right now, I actually put it in the spot where I was going to spoliate this fruit tree, really just keep it really small because I didn't know if I'd like it, and it turns out I love it. So I'm going to move it to the area where I have the weeping cherry tree, and that's the location where I'm going to put it, and I'm going to let it just grow huge. I'm really excited about that. I think it's going to be perfect. So in that spot instead, I'm going to get a pear tree. I don't like pears at all, actually, but one of my sons do. He does. He loves pears. So I think in that spot, I'm just going to get a pear tree. Then I can trim it small in the espalier look that I like for it, and he can have his pears, but it's not going to be a situation where in 10 years when he moves out of my house, I'm okay with keeping it, but it's not going to be one of those things where it's like I have this wasted space. So it'll be fine. I think that'll work out just fine. Yeah, this is, see, the sparks are kind of moving here. I'm getting really excited. Okay, guys, more ideas have been sparking. What would you think? So here's the arbor, here's the fence that I'm doing, the walkway turning into the side yard right here. But what if along the pergola on this side, what if we espaliate some more trees? Some trees, that area gets quite a bit of shade. So we'd have to come up with some ideas of trees that get more shade, but espaliate them into, it's called the Belgian fence, I think is what it's called. But we would do that alongside of the pergola. Then, when we're in the pergola, we kind of have privacy from the vegetable garden. It kind of encloses that area. What do you think? I kind of like that idea. Okay, now that we've kind of got a general idea of what I'm kind of looking for, now it's time to actually get the graph paper out, because now we have to see if everything I want will actually fit. Because if the walkway, the style that I've chosen doesn't fit, obviously we need to change the style. We don't want to go out there and do the work and then realize, oh shoot, it's not going to work. So that's why graph paper is important. But I feel like if I'm having to actually draw everything out to scale every single time I'm trying to come up with an idea, I feel like that really harbors kind of my inspiration and my creativeness. So I always do it on regular paper and just come up with ideas. And that way there's no stress, there's no pressure. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There's no investment into it yet. But if I'm taking the time and actually drawing something out for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then it doesn't work, it's like, oh, darn, let's do it again. So that's why I do it this way. You can do it however way you want to. It's just how I do it. All right, got the graph paper out. All right, I've been drawing things out, and it looks like it can fit. So I'm very excited. So I can actually make it 3 feet wide over here if I choose to. And then, what did I say, 2.5 feet? 1, 2.5, yeah, 2.5 feet wide around the sundial, and then 3 feet again on this side. I've chosen to make this area a little narrower because I'm going to have arches all over it. So you're really not going to see it. You're just going to be walking under the arches. And I think that will be really pretty. So I can make this narrower just so I can get more space right here, because right here, this is only 2.5 feet from this part of the circle to this section of the walkway. So I prefer having more space to plant rather than more hard space. So that's what I think I'm going to do with that. But I like this. Doesn't that look good? I think that's going to look great. I like it. And so here again, I have the blueberries. I have the fence where I have my espalier fruit trees on, all 3 of them. So again, I'm going to put the fruit trees like this, and just have those growing as much as, you like to see my drawings right there. Here I have my apricot trees. This is going to be the pear tree. And then I'm thinking, here's the pergola. So this is what I was talking about, the Belgian fence. So if I plant a tree here, let's say it goes to like right here. It's going to take some time to actually do that, but every 2 or 3 feet, that's making sense, right? I think so. And then it crosses over. Then you can kind of get an idea. See, like that, look at that. This would be a lot of work if I chose to do something like this. I am trying to get away from doing a lot of physical things that I have to just keep on with over time, but this might be worth it. Trees are different. It might be worth it with trees rather than spraying. I hate spraying, but this, I don't know. I think I'm going to give this a year and really think about it. See if I can actually handle it this year, doing something as intricate as this. And plus, I have to figure out what trees can handle more shade in my area, who can take the heat, but more shade. Because, like I said, this gets a lot of shade on this side. Uh, but I think that would be beautiful. Really beautiful, actually. All right, guys. So now that you kind of know what my ideas are, what I'm trying to figure out, how to do that area, I'm so excited. I think it's going to be so much fun. I do have to now come up with the plan of step by step how I'm going to do it. It's not going to be in a day, obviously, because it's just me. My husband really doesn't do yard work, so he'll help me with the heavy stuff, things I really can't do. But for the most part, it's me. I do have 2 teenagers who like to be paid for things, so I know they're going to want to come and help because they love to help me when mommy pays. So I think that I'll get some help with that, but I have to remove the gravel, I have to remove the raised beds plus the dirt, which means I'm going to have to make a dump trip. What else? Remove the raspberries and figure out where they're going to go. I think they're going to go into my side yard just to get them out of that way. I do have some boysenberries over there on one side, so I can put them on the other side. I think that'll look nice over there, and it gets enough sun for them as well. But once it's all removed, then it's building it all together. My husband will help me, I'm sure, with building the fence, getting that set up. I figure he'll probably help me with the edging. We do metal edging in our yard with the hardscape stuff. I thought someone was here. So he'll probably help me with that. We did that. We've done the edging a couple of times. We've done 2 different types of edging. One edging we've done in the chicken garden. We did some just metal edging from Home Depot. That stuff is the worst. Oh my goodness. The price is good, but it took us forever because the metal was so bendy. It's so thin that it bends. And so when you're trying to make straight edges like I was doing in the chicken garden, it was impossible to work with. It looks fine now that it's done, but I don't want to do that stuff again because it was so horrible to work with. But I may have no choice because the other metal edging that we have for our big walkway and for the front yard is that's the heavy duty edging. And that stuff, first of all, I don't have a truck, so I have no way of transporting it from the yard or anything. But that stuff's super hard to move because of how thick it is. So I've got to figure this out and really figure out what kind of edging I'm going to use, and we're just going to have to suck it up either way, whether we use the Home Depot stuff again, good Lord help me, or if we actually have to get the metal edging, which I don't know if I could do that. So we might have to hire someone to do that, but I don't know. We're going to have to figure that out. But I think this weekend is going to be I'm going to remove the gravel and the raised beds. Maybe we'll put up the fence so that now once the gravel's removed, it's going to be all dirt. And I don't want a big muddy mess. I have a dog who likes to go swimming, as you know, and I don't really want that wet mud in my pool or in my house. So we got to figure something else about that. So I'm thinking this weekend we're going to do the rocks, the raised beds, and a fence. Sound good? I think so. And then after that, we can go a little slower and try to figure out exactly where everything is going to go. I think this turned out great, and I love this design. I think it's going to give me that formal cottagey garden that I'm actually wanting. I think it's going to look so good, and I think it's going to be beautiful, and I'm going to row things, pretty easily. So I think it's going to be great. All right, guys, I'm so glad that you joined me today, and I hope that this inspires you. So if you have an area that really isn't working for you, or if it's something that you're just not happy with, change it. It's okay. If you have to budget for it, I'm totally budgeting for my project too, because money doesn't grow on trees. We got to make sure that we get things done the way we want it. But that way it encourages you to go outside. I know that this year, because of Gus eating all my vegetables and produce, and I really wasn't liking the design of that area anyway, I think that I just wasn't out there in that space as much as I normally am. And so I wanted to change that and say, you know what, I want to find a reason to be out there. And a reason to be out there is because you like it. So I think changing this, getting rid of the raised beds and actually making this more of a formal, cottagey, Beatrix Potter type of look, especially with that gate. Isn't it so cute? I love it. So I think that this is going to be a spot where I'm just going to be in all the time. So I'm very excited. All right, guys, I will keep you updated. We'll probably do some projects together just so you can see the transformation, and it's going to be fun. All right, guys, have a great day. See you next time. Bye.